Our company, Prospecting on Demand, has made more than $5 million selling high-ticket marketing services over the past few years. And we've helped our clients generate more than $300 million doing the same thing. And in this video, I'm going to give you 9 of our best strategies to start getting more new client opportunities within the next 12 to 24 hours. And we're going to rank all of them here. Let's get into it. First and foremost is dial for dollars. This is cold calling. Is it the most fun? No. Is it the most scalable? No. But it is the one strategy that you can do right this moment, that you have the most control over, that no one can stop you from doing, and that you can immediately go to the people that you want to serve and either get the opportunity to sell them an offer or get a very fast feedback loop so that you can learn from them and what they actually want to inform what your offer is. So let's get into it. First thing you're going to need to do is you need to get a list. Pretty straightforward. The place that you source this list from is going to depend on who you're going after. Now, industries that do not have gatekeepers, so I'm thinking things like realtors, mortgage brokers, smaller businesses who, when you call maybe like the flower shops, nail salons, when you call those places, very often you're going to get a manager or the right person, or just 1 degree away from getting the right person on the phone. These businesses, you can use pretty simple, just business data list scraping tools. One of my favorites is D7 Lead Finder. It says D7 List Builder here, but the tool is D7 Lead Finder. You can plug it into your browser. Pretty straightforward, easy to find. This will just scrape together a keyword of an industry and a location and then give you a list of all of those people. So if I go pull this up as an example, it's going to show you all these different businesses, right? Now, as a little bit of an extra hack here, what I like to do is find people who are currently spending money on ads. So you can sort and filter by the businesses who are already spending money on ads. And why that matters is it's easier to get someone who's already spending money on something to move that money around than it is to convince someone who's not spending money on that to start spending money. So this is a really good place to get phone numbers of businesses. And then when you call these businesses, I'll give you the whole framework here in just a second. Let's still talk more about list building. Now, if you were reaching people who are a little harder to get a hold of, so this might be doctors or attorneys, certain home service businesses where there's going to be call centers picking up the phone for you, or front desk people who it's going to be hard to get around them and get to the people you really want to talk to, I recommend a list building tool called Apollo. Apollo will actually give you the individual cell phone numbers, not just the business front desk phone numbers, so you can circumvent that and go right to the right person. There are also some similar tools available in high level. They have a prospecting tool that will compile some of this information as well. But once you have the list, step 2 is you pick up the phone and you call them. What do you say when you actually get someone on the phone now? Let's break it all down. So I'm going to run through the script here one time, and then I will give you the exact kind of nuance and detail of how you can leverage this even better. So let's just do an example. Hey, this is Brian, right? Hey, Brian, hope you're having a great morning. I just had a super quick question for you. Since I saw you run a HVAC business here in the Detroit area, looks like you got some really great reviews online. To be totally honest, I'm calling you out of the blue, and I'm sure you get calls like this all the time. Not an overseas call center or anything like that, though. But if you give me 30 seconds, I checked you guys out, and I think we have an offer that actually might make a lot of sense for your business if you're in a place where you're open to getting more jobs, but only with your permission, of course. Wait for permission. Cool. Now you want to use a metaphor. So basically what we do is we help fill your bucket with water. Water being more opportunities, more leads. And a lot of businesses, unfortunately, are losing a lot of those opportunities to holes in their bucket. So bad systems, bad follow-up. And we have a system that then plugs up that bucket as well. So if you're in a place where you want to fill your bucket with water and plug that up, this is something that I can show you how to do. Now, again, calling you out of the blue, but would you be opposed to like a super short 15, 20-minute call a little later this week? I can break it all down for you there. Not trying to take all of your time right now. I know this was impromptu. And that's it. And you let them decide where they want to take it. And the idea is if you've ever seen the movie 8 Mile, where Eminem is in a rap battle and he takes his competitor's ammo away from him by saying all the bad things about himself. And in the same way, what you're doing here is you're telling them, you know that you're calling them out of the blue. You know they get calls all the time. I like to joke, and if you can get someone to laugh on a cold call, big deal. Now they're going to be more open to hearing what you have to say, and that guard is lowered a little bit. And you just make a joke, like, hey, not an overseas call center, not a crazy person, anything like that. But if you just give me 30 seconds, I've got an opportunity I think might make a lot of sense for your business because of XYZ criteria. You are in a local association. I saw you are highly reviewed on Google. I saw you running ads on Yelp. Whatever the context is, this is a really solid framework. And a lot of times what people will do is they'll just chuckle at this and go, okay, man, what do you got? Tell me. And it will give you a chance to pitch with a metaphor. Now, the metaphor is going to be a little bit different for every single business, but you want to try and not explain something that's overly complicated or get into any of the technical jargon. We just want them to have an idea of what the metaphor is that we do for them, and then ask them if they would be opposed to the idea of just a quick call to discuss it later. This is it. Now, another important consideration here is if you are not earning, meaning you're not making money, you're not getting sales calls booked, you're learning. If you don't earn, you learn. What does that mean? You need to get a feedback loop and ask them like, hey, no sweat if this isn't for you, but would you mind sharing, like, in a perfect situation, what would you want, or what type of services would you potentially be looking to buy? What would be worth your time? Versions of questions like this will get them to open up and tell you, so now you can inform your future pitches, your future metaphors that you use. Now, like I said, this is not going to be the most scalable thing. I would not recommend doing this forever, but we're talking about quick wins, things you can do right now to generate opportunities and income. This is something that most people are too afraid to do, which means those who are willing to suck it up and make it happen, you can make money a lot faster than other people. Cool. Let's keep rocking. Next on our list, the interview offer. This is something that you may not have heard of before. We have a full SOP in our program, and this is one of the things where there's a lot of nuance around it. So for the sake of this video, and I may make another video on just this topic alone, but you're essentially going to leverage a high touch, not high tough, high touch, value forward ask to what I like to say, manufacture relationships. And you're going to do this very selectively. I wouldn't do it with everyone, but you want to do this with key potential referral partners and or local or ideal dream clients in your area. So to keep it really, really simple, we're not going to overdo this because we're talking quick wins. We want to move fast. You're going to basically compile your dream 5 list. Keep this list really simple, short and sweet to the point. Who are 5 targets in your community? I like to start local too, a little bit of a side hack because people who in your community want to help other people in their community. So start local first. And what you can do is, once you have that list compiled, this should be people who have access to a potential roster of clients they can refer you to, or a network of people they can refer you to, or they are the dream ideal client themselves. And what this essentially looks like is you're going to reach out to them with the frame of, hey, Brian, I'm actually putting together an interview series to feature some of the top medical spas in the Austin, Texas area. Saw your guys' clinic. Looks like you're doing some really amazing things. Would you be opposed to being featured on this interview series? It would just take like 15, 20 minutes of our time. We jump online, do a quick interview, and we'll publish it and distribute that for you. Would you be open to doing something like that? And here's the reality. Most people love to talk about themselves and what they're doing well, and they love to be told that they're doing a good job. And this is a really powerful way now to manufacture a relationship with someone who otherwise would not have given you the time of day. And now here's how you do this. You get on a Zoom call with them online. You can do it in person if you really want to. Not going to be, again, more time consuming, but you can build a deeper relationship a little quicker. And you're going to really just run through a sales framework we call the 4 Ws, even though this is on a interview offer. It's under the guise of an interview, which is, where are they at now? where do they want to go? What are some of the challenges they're dealing with? And then, the urgency piece would be something you can kind of layer in there. Like, what's the time frame in which you're wanting to do some of these things and hope to see these changes happen? And what you are looking to do is not only get some good content in the form of an interview that you can leverage and publish to build thought leadership, authority, etc. But now with this person, you have an insight into their business that they would have not otherwise shared. And the idea here is you want to leverage the rule of reciprocity. And what that means is because you have now done something nice for them, they're going to feel compelled and obligated to do something nice for you. And what this will look like is at the end of that conversation, it'll go like this: 3, 2, 1. Hey, Brian, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. This was an awesome interview. I noticed you shared XYZ with me on this call, and I really want to do my best to repay you for the value you provided here today. Would you be opposed, you see that key phrase I keep using over and over again, to jumping on a call a little later this week, and I'll break down and share some ideas with you on solving XYZ thing that you shared with me? More than happy to see if there's other ways we can support or refer each other. So again, this is going to be contextual based on, is this person a potential referral partner or a potential client? And that's how you measure the ask that you're going to make. But these people will feel indebted to you because you just did something really nice for them. So in the high of that moment, now you can make your ask to see if there's an opportunity to continue to provide value through the lens of the service you can potentially do for them. I'm going to give you more ideas here in a little bit of some offers you can make to kind of get that foot in the door. This will be a little later up our list here. But this is a really powerful way, guys, to be able to find the people you want to work with or want to be referred by, manufacture relationships quickly, and then get them in your Rolodex of someone who now you can make an ask from. All right, let's keep this train rocking. We're moving fast. The social hand raise. This is probably the easiest, fastest thing you can do. I'm going to be honest. I probably just want you to pause the video after I tell you this one and go do it right now because it is so simple. But here's what it looks like. You're going to basically make a post on your social media profiles, whichever ones you're most engaged on. I prefer Facebook in this case. LinkedIn is okay. Instagram, probably not going to be the best place to do this, again, unless you have an audience there. So you got to play the hand you are dealt, right? Whatever opportunities you have in front of you, everyone's going to be a little bit different. Play to your strengths. But in this sense, what you're going to do is you're just going to open up your social media account and you're going to make one of these two posts. You're going to say, hey, I'm looking for X. Who would you recommend? I'm looking for home carpet cleaners. I'm looking for auto mechanics. I'm looking for dental surgeons. Who would you recommend? Option 2 would be, hey, any of my friends know a X? Tag them below. Same idea here. Now, what you can do is a little bit of an extra here is you can actually go make posts like this inside of niche specific Facebook groups. You want to be careful that you are not saying like, hey, who wants to buy marketing services? Now that's aggressive, I know, but something along the lines of, hey, do you know any other HVAC people who are looking to take on more jobs? Tag them here. And now what you're doing is you're not making a direct solicit to ask someone or people in the community, not soliciting the community directly, but you're looking to get the community to invite their friends or to tag in their friends or even to potentially now raise their hand and say, hey, what about me? So I'll give you an example. A lot of times Facebook groups are not going to like when you make a job post, right? Like, hey, I'm hiring XYZ. Instead, you can go, hey, who do you recommend for XYZ? And it will allow you to circumvent that rule by not directly soliciting the group, but making an ask to get people to tag in people who now make sense for the ask you were trying to make. So this is one of the easiest ones. Honestly, you should just go do this right now. And essentially anyone who then responds to that, you're going to thank them and then try to get them to make a direct introduction to that person. Because let's say someone's going to tag that person in, but that other person they tagged might not see that tag. They're not going to reach out to you. You go now ask the individual who tagged that person in, hey, would you mind just connecting us over a quick Facebook Messenger here? What is their phone number? Is it okay if I name drop and use your, again, you want it to not be too much friction for them. So depending on your relationship with the person, maybe it's just asking to name drop. So it's contextual, but this is a very simple way to just get some people coming your way. have your friends and your personal connections tag them on a social media post. And that's pretty much it. This is the social hand raise. Let's keep rocking. Next on our list, we're getting to the better ones now. I know some of these, we're warming up. We're getting to the good ones. Your personal network. Now, in the same way where I don't want you to directly solicit Facebook groups, I also do not want you to directly solicit your friends or family. That's weird. It feels weird. You don't want to do that. I'm not going to ask you to do that. But what this looks like, and I'm going to go up here to the personal network. You kind of saw the next one there, a little bit of a preview. The idea is if they want more information, they will ask on their own instead of you directly soliciting them. But the focus is to ask for a favor, for them to invite their friends, not for them to necessarily buy from you. So let's break it down. First thing you're going to do, like most of these, you're going to compile your list. Now, this list is going to be a little different because this is your network. So again, play to your strengths, play the hand that you are dealt, but this could look like any of the following: your email contacts, your social media connections, your contacts in your phone, religious organization affiliate, trade school, graduate school, country club you're potentially a part of, local associations, chamber of commerce, etc. Anyone where you have someone in your personal network, and of course, friends and family. So hat tip to Hormozy for coming up with the ACA framework. But essentially what that looks like is before you bridge this conversation to an opportunity, you want to warm them up, right? You don't want to come in and just ask something like this right off the top. People don't tend to like that. You want to, and again, contextual. If you know them really well, and if it's a good friend and you just can make the ask, then go for it. But if it's someone who's a little bit more of an acquaintance that feels awkward to make an ask first, here's what it looks like. First, you got to acknowledge, which means you're going to do some research on what they have actually been up to. Next is you're going to compliment them on that thing that you found above based on the research you did. And then lastly, you're going to ask a question that ideally ties back to the compliment and bridges the opportunity now for you to make your ask. So here's just two quick examples. Obviously, this is going to be different for every single person. And I would make sure you're doing this very personalized, very high touch. This is not something we're going to automate, try and do with AI or like do a lazy blanketed message that feels like it wasn't written for one individual. Write these for each person. It matters, okay? Hey, saw you recently switched jobs and moved to Nashville. You're killing it. Have you been able to connect with a lot of contractors since you switched over into roofing? Again, this might be for an agency owner, friend, or someone you know in the space who moved, right? Hey, saw you recently bought a new home. It looks super nice. Congratulations. You taking on more work at that law firm still? You guys still growing nicely? Again, just different. It's all contextual. You need to figure out something that they've been doing, compliment that, and then ask them a question about it that is somewhat relative and related to now the opportunity where you will bridge this conversation, okay? So after they reply, now you want to invite their friends. So what that looks like is, hey, by the way, do you happen to know anyone who's possibly looking for XYZ thing, whatever the core benefit of your service is? Because I'm opening up a few spots for that. And that's it. This is all you need to do in order to leverage your personal network without being weird or slimy or making them feel like, was just Brian trying to like get money from me? No, don't do that. You invite their friends after opening up with some personalized message. So that one's it. Let's keep rocking. Local associations. You may have saw this because I had to scroll past it already, but that's okay. A little bit of a preview of what's coming down the pipeline. Now, I am not against local chambers of commerce, BNI, or like local networking groups, but those tend to attract a lot of the solopreneur, beginner entrepreneurs who haven't quite figured out their business and they're just there looking for business versus a niche specific group and or association. And it's really, really easy to do this. It just requires a quick Google search. So what this looks like is you're going to go into Google and you're just going to plug in the phrase related to a niche specific industry, and then you're going to throw a city name in there. Let's do a quick example of this. All right, so I just plugged in Dental Association Atlanta, just picked a random niche, random city, and a lot of times these are going to have multiple associations. So you may need to do a little research and figure out which one is going to make the most sense for you. But I like this one right at the very, very top, Georgia Dental Association. I'm sure it's based in Atlanta. And again, if you're not near one of these bigger cities, you may need to do a little bit of driving to go participate, but it is worth it because people who know you, like you, and trust you will do business with you far faster than strangers will. And one of the fastest way to manufacture those types of relationships is to go meet people in person. Yes, you will have to get off your butt, get out of your office, and go into the real world. So let's talk about what this looks like. Once you've actually found a group or association, there are different ways to be able to get in front of them. And again, it's contextual. So I'm going to give you some different options here. But once you have that list, basically you want to look and see at what upcoming events, sponsorship opportunities, or industry vendor or partner opportunities there are for you to take advantage of. So options for access. I would say hands down the best thing to do would be to sponsor an upcoming event that allows you to have some form of speaking time in front of the whole group so you can ideally make some kind of soft offer to talk with you about your offer. Better would be sponsor at any level, right? If this is just being able to sponsor a dinner or a golf outing, and then be able to go there and be introduced directly from the leadership team to members because they want to hook up their sponsors and introduce you to the group. If you get a booth at an event, this is good as well. I would say I'd really push for speaking time if you're going to sponsor, but you kind of have to take what you can get because you don't always control what the different levels of sponsorship are, but definitely always ask. It doesn't hurt to do so. The good version would be just become one of the industry or an association vendors or partners, right? A lot of times when you go to, Member Center here as an example, let me just move my recording thing out of the way here. There will be a place where you can find, and not every single one is going to do it, but some will have the option for people who are in the industry, but not necessarily dentists, like people who sell products and services to dental groups and dental associations or in dental offices, those people like yourself can pay to still be a part of this. So I'm going to see if I can't find an example here real quick. So all I had to do was scroll a little bit, but it looks like endorsed partners is what they call it. Again, every association is going to call it something slightly different. And I don't know why Lenovo and Mercedes and Volvo are sponsoring these things. It's a little silly. But Dental HQ, Practice, Care Credit, these would be, again, brands that are paying to sponsor this association. And so you may need to do a little bit of digging. Sometimes they have the information right on the website and it'll show you what the prices are and what that looks like. Other times you may need to call someone. And what I love about these websites is they will tell you very often who are on the staff, who to call. We'll give you phone numbers, contact information. Again, look at this. I love these sites. This is so silly. Almost without fail, they do this. So Kristen Morgan, who is, again, very likely, and their website's loading painfully slow right now, is very likely a successful dentist in her own right, and all these other people as well. They just give you access to their phone numbers and contact information on these sites, and you can call. And now you're just making the ask of, hey, like I serve dental and dental clinics. What would be the best way to get involved in your community? I'd love to give back and see how I can support, refer, and network inside the group. And this is a really powerful way to, again, forge relationships with people in these niche specific groups and associations. The okayest version of this would be to just attend their events and network, right? It's not the most ideal, but still better than nothing. And a couple of other ways you can kind of leverage this. I call this a content partnership where you just offer to do some kind of training for them. If you can do it for free, even better. But very often you are going to make their life easier because you are offering to like, hey, can I come teach the Georgia Dental Association how to get more opportunities on Facebook, how to leverage AI to get more appointments booked during the off hours when your staff is at home. Like whatever the thing is, the core benefit of your service, just ask if you can provide value and give it to them for free, because they're always looking for smart people to come add value to their community. And then they don't have to do any work. They show up, they look good because they brought you in, and you teach the community something valuable, and you create opportunities from that. A version of this might be a lunch and learn. Back when I ran my agency, I would do this very often for not home service companies. This was more like home retail companies and like tile stores, furniture stores. And people would show up and I would buy them lunch. I get 10, 12 people in a room, buy them lunch, do a training, and then I would get clients and opportunities and referrals out of that. Now, a little bit of a sneaky way to get in here is if you can identify people who are the other vendors, partners, associates, and sponsors of the community. I like reaching out to them because they make amazing referral partners. I would go either if that's at the event, go talking to the people who are sponsoring the event, whether or not you're a sponsor, or even just picking up the phone if you don't want to wait for an event and call them like, hey, this is Bob's dental crown and veneer manufacturing, right? Hey, I saw you guys were one of the partners at the GDA. I was just curious, like we were considering joining. What do you think about the community? Is it worth joining? Oh, cool, blah, blah, blah. Thank you. Hey, would you be opposed to a conversation maybe later this week where you and I can see if there's opportunity to support and refer each other as well? And we've had so many clients, including myself, make a lot of money by getting the right people with the right audience. And you can find them at these events to refer you to their clients because they want their clients to win more as well. And if you can help them win, you make them look good. So this is local associations. Let's keep rolling. Your professional network is next. Now, some of you may be building this up. Some of you maybe have a big professional network. Let's talk about it. Cool. So I'm going to give you all the frames, everything you need again. Leverage your professional network, create referrals, direct sales. Great. Compile your list. Old, new friends in the industry. Again, you can make a list based on your email contacts, social media connections, your phone contacts, whatever's in your head. Just use what you got. Play the hand you're dealt. Now, here are the message frameworks to take these people from hey, we know each other, to let's see if there's a way to support or refer each other. So for warmer connections, people who you've got a good relationship with, you kind of regularly communicate and you feel comfortable just making a direct ask, just make a direct ask. And you'd be like, hey, do you happen to know anyone who's possibly looking for XYZ core benefit of what I do? Because I'm opening up a few spots for that. So again, it's the same ask you'd make to your personal network, but you can just be more direct with this because they're in the space, they're in business, they get it, right? An indirect version of this might be something like, hey, Brian, do you have a few minutes this week to catch up? Want to share something really exciting we're doing with our Chiro partners to help them reactivate patients and automate their patient scheduling, and thought about you since I really value your feedback. So again, this could be a really great way just to open up a dialogue and start to have a conversation with someone. For older and colder connections who you might not have that rapport with still, and that have been maybe not remember you as well, or maybe you only met once or twice, something like this works really well too. Hey, Brian, hope you and your clinic are still doing great as we head into the holidays. Obviously contextual. If it's not the holidays, don't say that. I thought of you because we got a super exciting new project rolling out for some of our Chiro partners, and wanted to see if you possibly knew anyone who might benefit from this. Do you have a few minutes to catch up this week to discuss? And what I would do is, after you send these messages, if you don't hear back from them in a couple of days, pick up the phone and call them and say the same exact thing. But at least now this is a framework you can use to not feel like you are directly soliciting them, feel awkward or slimy about it. But again, you have to decide, is this a warmer or colder connection? And then use the appropriate framework. Let's keep rocking. Next. Past clients. Okay. So a lot of you watching this video hopefully have already worked with some clients in the past. You have those people who did work with you, they liked you, but for whatever reason, those relationships kind of fizzled out and they're no longer an active paying client. So here are the frames you can do to get in front of them. So the idea is you want to re-engage past clients with some sort of reintroductory offer. So compile the list. Again, it's going to be very similar to what I've already been talking about. I'm not going to go down that laundry list again of ways you can compile this list. But what you want to do is send a personalized email to kind of just open up the dialogue, right? So I'll give you two options, and then one option, and I'll give you a real life example of how I've done this. So, hey Brian, hope you're doing well. Have a few minutes to catch up this week. Would love to check in and see if you guys are doing, how you are doing, and share some of the exciting things we've been working on if you're open to that. So really simple, it's pretty direct, but let me give you a more contextual, personalized version of something that I used to a lot of success and had a lot of people get back to me. But again, this is where high touch, personal things matter because they want to feel like they matter, right? If you just send them a blanketed boilerplate message that they feel like you've sent to anyone, there's no personalization, chances of them responding to that are going to be a lot lower. So here's an example. Hey, Lisa, it's been a while since we caught up. Hope you and the family are doing great. Did you end up in Texas or are you still in California? Because I had that context that her family, a lot of them in this company, moved to Texas. Since we spoke, my wife and I actually had 2 little girls, so I'm right there with you because I know she has 2 little girls as well. So again, contextual. The reason I'm reaching out is we just wrapped up this project with Carlos at Outdoor Elegance to build an AI receptionist, answer customer questions online, and schedule in-store appointments for them. I was wondering if you're open to it. Could we build a free demo for OW Lee, which is their company, to potentially use it if you like it? My goal would be for this to be free for you so other retailers potentially see the value and might want one as well. Open to a short conversation about this next week. Either way, hope you're doing great. There's a little bit of a pro tip here as well. I love the either way frame because this is essentially showcasing indifference. When people can feel that you need something from them and it's not in their best interest, but it's yours, they're going to pull back, right? But this frame of, hey, either way, hope you're doing great, insinuates that it's fine if she doesn't want to connect or if she doesn't want to do this or have the conversation. It's up to her, and it softens it because it feels like, hey, the ball's in your court, Lisa. If you want to connect, great. If not, no sweat. It's all good. So again, follow that up with phone calls for the people who do not necessarily respond to this email or text. And then here are some examples of reintroductory offer ideas. So I love the idea of a free VIP day, audit, or demonstration of some kind. Got a lot of clients use this really successful. Like, hey, if you're open to it, and this would be, of course, after you're on a call with them and you're having this conversation, would you be opposed if we did like an audit for you on your current marketing and tech stack and give you some feedback on some things you could maybe do to improve? More than happy to lead with some value. And I'll give you the opportunity to kind of map out a game plan for them, get on a call, and have now maybe even multiple hours where you have the ability to build more rapport, build relationship. And then at the end of that, you do the 2-option close, which is essentially like, hey, you can do this yourself, or if you're open to it, we can talk about options for how we can do that for you. Cool. Next is love it or leave it. Love it or leave it is essentially where you're going to offer a temporary discount in the service pricing to get them to sample it, right? So maybe if you're charging $2,000 a month for your service, you say, hey, why don't we do a love it or leave it framework? Just pay me $1,000 per month for 2 months. And at the end of that, once you love it, we can decide and move forward. And if for whatever reason, if you want to leave it, no sweat, at least the barrier to entry and the risk is a lot lower on your end. How does that sound? Cool. Next would be even potentially a free trial. I'm not opposed to, again, if for the sake of getting business, if we're in a place where, hey, I really need to make some cash, I really want to get people through the door. Yeah. Don't be opposed to doing a temporary 2-week, 4-week free trial to get them to understand the value and then get them to start paying the full rate. Cool. Let's keep rocking. Down to the final 2. Let's do it. 90-day leads. What does that mean? So this would basically be reactivating all recent sales opportunities that did not convert in the past 90 days. And then you can expand this. When I say expand this, I mean the time horizon, right? So let's say you don't have a ton of people who in the past 90 days are leads or opportunities. Okay, maybe we go to the last 6 months. Maybe we go to the last year. 90 days is just a good target because these are going to be the most people who are the most recent, and recency bias is a real thing. But these frames I'm about to give you that you can use work regardless of kind of the timeline, right? I've had people who I've used this on who've been following us for years. It still works, but the ones who are more recent are going to be more receptive to the conversation. So you're going to compile two different lists. It's a little bit more nuanced now. I want you to compile what I call a short list and a long list, okay? So your short list, what I mean by that is going to be the hottest, best opportunities, the people in your opportunity pipeline, if you're using it, should be using a CRM, who are most likely to respond and get back to you. Those should be a lot more personalized. The long list is something where you can do more of a reactivation message, where it's one message that's sent out to a bunch of people, not personalized. So again, high level, whatever CRM you're using to kind of look and track your opportunities, start there. Your email list, anywhere else you've got them, spreadsheet, Facebook Messenger, it doesn't matter, right? Just wherever you've got these opportunities and conversations going on. So what I want you to do next is manually follow up with your short list. So here's what this looks like in an email example, right? Hey, Brian, we last spoke in October. At that time, it looked like you had shared with me your number one obstacle was generating consistent qualified sales calls for your plumbing business so that you could expand into a different city and start to get more trucks on the road. It's been about 75 days since that conversation. Have you guys overcome that obstacle yet? How's progress been? Just making an ask, right? A text version of this would be something like, hey, Brian, how's progress been on that lead gen campaign we spoke about back in October? You guys making some good progress there? Cool. And now I want you to do outbound dials as well. And I say 3x per week. This is where we're getting more aggressive, right? The further we're going up this list of people we can potentially reach out to, the more aggressive I'm going to be with my touch points and how I'm trying to get in front of them. So here's a really helpful follow-up framework. Hat tip to Jeremy Miner for helping kind of come up with some of the structure, but this works incredibly well when you are calling leads. Now, here's what I want you to avoid. Do not use words and phrases like, hey, just following up with you, or hey, does that ring a bell? Those phrases will set off defense triggers and mechanisms in your prospect's brain to just group you with every other salesperson that's using the same exact words. So tonality and the words you choose to say are very, very important to get them to be more open. So I'm going to run through it and I'll explain some of the nuance to you after I do that. Hey, it's Brian Downard. Yeah, from POD, getting back to you. We spoke a few months ago about some problems you were having getting more consistent closes for your agency because you were trying to kind of grow your business, get closer to that 40K, 50K a month mark. I was just thinking about you since our team was talking about some different ways we've been able to help our current clients and new ways we've been able to work with people. And it just made me think of our conversation. How's progress been on that? Got it. Okay. Well, I know I'm calling you out of the blue. Are you open to a quick session where I can break down some of these ideas for you? That's it. That's it, guys. And the idea here is you want to have this verbal and friendly inflection and pause, like they should know who you are. Because if you're just going into it and they don't have any idea, they probably might not even remember you, but you want to pretend like they're a friend, like you're calling a friend you've had for your entire life and acting and pretending like they should know exactly who you are when you say your name, even if they potentially don't or won't. And then this is a key phrase. Yeah, from POD, getting back to you. Getting back to you is this implication that you are doing them a service by getting to them because it's something that they had wanted, right? Now, some people maybe actually did want you to follow up, or maybe they kind of ghosted you or it puttered out and then the relationship never went anywhere. You sent proposals and they just never got back to you, or they wanted to think about it. This puts the ball in their court where it's like, I'm getting back to you because it's what you wanted, not it's what I want, right? If this is self-serving to me, they're going to pull back and not want to have that conversation. It needs to be self-serving for them. So this is a really helpful frame for you as a high-touch follow-up framework to use when you're talking to people. Cool. In terms of your long list, right? Now, this might be something you do for your top, those 20, 30% of leads who are the best and most likely to convert. Now you might have like a big list of like all the other people who are just kind of on your list in general. So a really great reactivation text. And we actually send these out daily for our setting and sales team in the mornings to set them up with conversations and opportunities in the afternoon. But it would look something like this. Hey, Brian, are you still considering using or partnering up with prospecting on demand to get more consistent leads to your business? Or did you put things on pause? Let me know so I don't make our setting team hammer your phone. Kidding, sort of. And again, I like to joke. I like to be jovial. If you can break down, if you can get someone to laugh and break down that barrier and that wall they have up of like, who is this? What do you want? Rah! Like, it will help so much to get you to the point of them being open to hearing what you have to say. Cool. Lastly, let's break down the holy grail of places to get opportunities and how to do it. Current clients. And we would leverage something that we call a red, green, yellow audit in order to do this. What does that look like? Cool. So you are essentially going to find upsell and referral opportunities from current paying clients. So all you need to do is send a simple email and or text to current clients to set up a quick check-in call. So very simple. It looks like this. Hey, can we catch up on Friday? I'd love to share some exciting updates on your campaign and share a few things we've been working on. That's it. These are current clients, right? They want to talk to you. If you're hiding from your current clients and this scares you to send a message like this because you're worried that, oh shoot, they're going to remember me and then want to cancel the service, don't run your business like that. Do not hide from your clients. You need to lean into the uncomfortable because the uncomfortable is where you will find the most growth. So we do have a whole SOP here that I am not going to break down probably for another video, but I'll give you the quick overview because the idea is you want to, here's the document. So the idea is red, green, yellow, RGY, or red, yellow, green, yellow, red, whatever order you want. It doesn't really matter. The idea is you need to have an understanding of what standing the client is in, meaning are they in red, meaning there's a good chance they're going to leave soon. If so, you're not looking for upsells. You're not looking for referrals. You're not looking for testimonials. You are looking for opportunities to salvage that relationship and figure out ways to retain revenue. And if that looks like offering someone a temporary discount to get them back on track, I would not be opposed to it, right? If they're spending $2,000 a month, but they're about to cancel, moving them down to $1,500 a month temporarily is not a bad idea. I would rather take $1,500 a month than zero, but at least now you've got the opportunity to retain revenue that potentially might be going out the door. If they're yellow, somewhere in the middle, you're going to need to get feedback, right? What will it take to get them to a place where they are green? If they're yellow, I'm still not going to solicit referrals or upsells or anything like that. We need to make sure we do right by them and get them back into good standing. Now, however, if they are green, this gives you the opportunity to, one, ask for testimonials, which is great, or the referral ask, as well as opportunities to upsell them. So these, again, can go something like this, like, hey, thank you so much for all the positive feedback today. We look forward to continuously working with you here into the future. Would you mind shooting over a quick 30-second video sharing your experience? You can do that here. I can clip out the recording. This will be a testimonial request. In terms of the referral request, this would go like, hey, so as you know, referrals are one of the greatest testimony a client can provide. If you happen to know any other dentists who could utilize our services, we'd really appreciate an introduction. So if anyone ends up working with us based on your referral, we'll give you X discount, Y cash, or Z, a gift of some kind. And this is, again, contextual based on what you know about your customers and what they value most. Sometimes certain industries, they don't care about more money or discounts on your service. They might want something cool. So you got to know who you serve in your industry, and this is contextual. So that is what we got here. Hopefully this has been helpful. These are 9 of the fastest ways you can get clients and start to manufacture opportunities today. But here's the reality. Not every single one of these is going to be an option for some of you, right? You need to play the hand you're dealt. So whatever of the options you have on this list, start at the top and work your way down until you've done all of them. And the idea would be just a couple of mindset components here. Maybe we should have started here in the video, but we're here now. We're doing it. You want to make sure you just start by sending the first message. It's the hardest one. It really is, because we have all this fear and anxiety built up of just doing it. You just got to get over it and start and do it. Okay? Follow up with people. They don't hate you. People just forget. People get busy. People have lives. And we have to really understand what we do is usually such a small part of other people's lives, right? They have their whole business to run. They've got their family, their friends, their other obligations outside of what they need to do day to day. just follow up. It's okay. People don't hate you, all right? Send thank you gifts, especially at these earlier stages where your business is potentially a little bit newer. This is something you should do to incentivize them to keep doing it more. And it's not just like referral fees or cash, but things that are personalized that get like that wow factor. So we tend to send food gifts. So anything from goldbelly.com, like these crazy elaborate cookies or donuts or just things that people, when they get, they wouldn't buy for themselves, but they get it and it just creates that lasting, memorable impression. This is actually, all these strategies are something that you can be doing 4 times a year. Every single quarter, go run down this list again, do them again, and you will make money. It's not just something you can do one time. And then the idea of make it easy for your prospects to say yes now. One of the best examples of this is, instead of asking them for a big commitment, with a price tag, like a big price tag would have to pay month to month, maybe you break down the price for the first month as weekly. So instead of charging them $2,000 a month, because really all people care about is what they have to pay today or what I save today, if you can reduce that friction and ask to something more like, hey, it's actually only $497 today. We go week by week. And then at the end of the first month, once you love it, we'll give you options to renew. And then you don't have to pay week to week. And there's discounts then for paying in bulk. So just some ideas here, guys. And then last thought here is, I do not care if some of these strategies seem simple or dumb. You're like, I don't want to do that. Go do it. You're here watching this video. If you've made it this far, it's because you want to make more money and you want to know what works. These things work. I've done this with clients for years. I have seen people make thousands and thousands of dollars in less than 24 hours by just doing these things. So go take advantage of it. Go crush it. If this has been helpful for you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. I'm going to be putting out a lot more content like this. So let me know what you want to see more of, and I'll see you guys in the next one.